So today I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like picking a lane and staying in it when you're building blog content, because I wrote a blog post about that yesterday, and when I jumped into the Badass Babes community, people were like, dude, you blew my mind with that, and now I'm like rethinking everything. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. If this is your first time joining me, I'm Sarah. I run exosarah.com, and I teach people to build badass blogs and businesses online. Yay! Hey, Anang. Cool. Okay, so my blog post yesterday was about picking a blogging lane, and what that means is you have to choose not just a niche, but a really specific like list of topics for that niche. So you're not just like a healthy living blogger, you're like the healthy living for your entire family blogger. So when you're creating blog content, I know a lot of people have this problem, especially when they're starting out. They kind of want to blog about everything, or they want to blog about whatever they're into in the moment. So if you're a healthy living blogger, that can contain a lot of different types of content. But if you also start blogging about blogging or about travel, you need to make sure that it really fits tightly within your niche. So if you're adding in random posts, you're kind of moving out of your lane, which is not only difficult on your readers because they don't really know what to expect from you, but it dilutes your whole overall message. So you'll notice on my blog, I only blog about blogging. When people ask me what I do, I'm like, I blog about blogging. I teach people to blog about blogging. But I don't write about anything else. When I do feel like I want to write about something else, I head over to Instagram. Instagram, I don't get a ton of traffic from that, and it's kind of like my fun social media platform. So I will share like pictures of my dog. I do like circus stuff if you have never met me before. I teach aerial arts, so I'll show videos on Instagram. But that's like my platform to put everything that doesn't actually relate to my blog. And I integrate a little bit of like blogging tips. I posted about periscoping today. I put information on webinars or on products or blog posts. So there is that information on my Instagram. But I really use it as a place to like dump all of the random cool stuff that I'm doing that has nothing to do with my niche. It really helps me to stay in my lane and to not even consider writing about something else on my blog. So for example, I'm going to talk about Caitlin. I don't know if she's hanging out today, but she was one of the people in the Badass Babes community. That's my online course. I have a community for that. And she came in and was like, Sarah, I've been blogging. She does a blog about the tech side of blogging and business. She was like, I've been writing about all this stuff, but I also write about feminism. She was like, I really like it, but I read your blog post and I feel like this is not working. And then I told her, yeah, you need to put your feminist stuff somewhere else. So maybe it's a whole other blog. Maybe it's an Instagram. Maybe she does like her feminist Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is. I really like using social media because then you're not investing time into an entire separate blog, right? Because once you get into it, I'm sure you do the same thing that I do, which is I get really excited and into it, and it's like the only thing I think about. So by putting your other blog topics into an Instagram account or a Twitter account or creating a Facebook group, you're able to still do a little bit of that, still write about it, still think about it, still hold a discussion on it, but it's not taking away from your overall message on your blog, and it's not taking time away. One of the examples I used in my blog post was that you might as well just post like a cute cat video in those spaces that you're using to write your off-topic blog post, because it's a waste of your time. It really is. It's not bringing people in, especially if you're running a business or building a community, or you're trying to make money from affiliate links. You're taking that time away from creating content that is going to bring in the right audience. Yes, your blog post should be cohesive. That's the whole deal. And staying in your lane is like the easiest way to say that. Yeah, does anybody have any questions about that? Feel free to chat with me. I like never Periscope, so you're getting me live. Hey, Fiona. All my badass babes are coming to hang out. Yeah, so if you're thinking about this and you're like, I do not really understand like how I'm supposed to narrow down my blog topics, or I've been a lifestyle blogger, which a lot of people kind of take that title in order to make them feel okay about writing about everything, which is totally fine. But if you have an overall goal of creating some sort of business or making money from ads or affiliate links, you really need to be specific about the type of content you're creating. If you're just blogging to blog, then you can write about whatever the hell you want. Yeah, so Nungtag, if I blog about creativity, can I blog about it in other ways to use it? Sorry, these things are going really fast. Yes, so that's a good example. You can write about different types or different topics, but your like main thing has to weave its way into every single blog post. So for Caitlin's example, she can write about like some sort of business tech thing, but it has to, and she can include feminism within that post, but I wouldn't do two separate posts. That's where you kind of like fall off the wagon and people get not only confused about what you do, but they're less likely to share your content. If I'm going to share a blog post about blogging, I'm going to share a post that is from someone who is doing that all the time, who is thinking about it 24/7, who is writing about it 24/7, who's periscoping, who's Instagramming, who is all about that, and maybe their business is related to blogging as well, like me, yeah. I'm not going to share a post about blogging from someone whose main expertise is like gardening. I'm sure their information is totally valid, but it looks better for me to share posts from people who are experts in what they're doing. Yeah, makes sense? Did I just like blow your minds and make you go and like frantically look through all of your blog posts? And you can go through and like, I wouldn't delete them because you worked probably really hard on those posts. Yeah, I love that. Fiona said 95% for business and 5% for fun. That's great. Yeah, you can go through and unpublish or turn them into drafts, all of the posts that don't really relate to your content. You don't have to leave them up there. You know, people are going to keep sharing your older posts, like they're going to be pinning them. So I would go through and kind of clean out everything that doesn't point readers toward that specific goal, whether it's hiring you, joining an online course, joining a community, or getting them to like click on affiliate links or something like that. Yeah? So if you are not exactly sure how to narrow down your blog posts, my Badass Babes blog club and e-course is open for registration still. There are still a handful of spots left, but I just got rid of 2 more spots this morning. You can find all the information at exosarah.com/badassbabes. It covers everything. The very first module is all about narrowing down your blog topics, staying in your lane, really figuring out the purpose of your blog, why you're putting all of this time into something, and what you want to create with that, who your main audience is. It will help you go through all that information. And if you join today is the last day that you can join, you can jump into module 1 right away. So if you're like at work and you need something to take your attention, you can totally start the course right now. Yeah, I get all the hearts for that. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so Badass Babes covers everything. So even if you've just started, as long as you have a blog, it'll cover blog content, building content for months in advance. Yes, you can do it. Yay, thanks Fiona. She said she loves the course and it's super worth it. Fiona was a super badass babe and she created a whole extra business out of it. We cover social media, we cover building an email list, all of the content upgrades and the tech side of that, creating pins that will actually get repinned and bring traffic to your website. We cover affiliate linking and kind of the taxes, legal side of making money through your blog, kind of anything. And the community is my favorite part. It's amazing. I go in there and I get feedback and I get inspired by what all of the students are doing. I have, I think 60 or 70 babes in there right now. And you get lifetime access to everything. We also do weekly hangouts, so you get 8 weeks of hangouts with the course, and then I do twice a month, I do a hangout with the blog club. So even if you disappear and then you come back 6 months later, you'll be able to jump in and join the weekly hangouts, and it's just like a text chat, and everybody hangs out and we talk about blogging or whatever you feel like. Usually we end up talking about food at some point. Hangouts are my favorite. They're so fun. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about today, which is like really, really random, is Pinterest, because I noticed last night that, oh yeah, it's from Target. I'm like obsessed with these. My favorite thing. And they're plastic because I like have a tendency to like not just drop things, but like they go flying. Like I throw my phone at least once a day, or like my cup goes flying, and I've broken a handful of those too. Okay, I want to start a blog about positive mental health, but also about creativity and burlesque. Is that too wide? So I would focus your posts on positivity and mental health. So each of your posts will point in that direction, but you can weave in something about burlesque, like using examples or stories or your experiences within your blog posts helps your audience to connect with you. So if you have a story about burlesque that you can put within a post, you'll be able to kind of write about both things at the same time, and it's really good for helping your audience connect with you. So your like overall blog post titles should all focus on the exact same thing. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw that Pinterest thing. So your blog post should all focus on the same thing, but you can add in like a little bit of your own personality, your other hobbies within the post itself. So you don't have to totally like kick all of the things that you love to the curb and just focus on the one single thing. You're welcome. Okay, so Pinterest. I went on Pinterest last night because I had pinned my blog post from yesterday to like 5 or 6 boards all at once. And so I went on to see if it was getting some traction and some repins. And so I go into Pinterest, I clicked on my own pins, and I could scan through, and luckily I made that image like hot pink, so it was really easy to see. And I realized that all of the pins said 13 repins and 1 like. And usually you would go in and you would have like, the pin that went into this board has 5, the pin that went into this board has 20, the pin that went into this board has 2, but they were all the same number. And I was like, what is going on here? Did I break my Pinterest? I don't understand this. So then I looked for another one and found that one a couple times in my pins. And the same thing, that one had like 225. It had been online for a while and been repinned quite a few times. I'm like, why? I'm not entirely sure why they have made this change, but that is what's happening. So it's counting the number of repins based on the post. So if you take one blog post and you put it into 20 boards, all of those pins are going to say the same number of repins. It's like the total number. When before you would have a different number on each pin. So I'm hoping it's an error because it's not making me very happy. I haven't like quite wrapped my brain around it, but my problem is that I pin one thing to 20 boards. And that makes it difficult to go through and see which boards are giving me the biggest return on my time investment. Yeah, so one thing is I went into, unable to edit pins. I've had that problem too. I was able to do it, I can't even remember, it was the other day, but yeah, I tried to edit the pin in like multiple browsers and the button wasn't working. I feel like I went into Tailwind and was able to fix it like on the back end, I think. But Tailwind is really helpful right now. I'm hoping that Pinterest doesn't like cut them off and end up with the totals on those pins as well. But right now when I go into Tailwind and I go into Pin Inspector, if I put the link for the blog post into the little search field, I can see the pins with their boards. So I can see like this board for this pin, 10 repins or whatever it is. So that is still separating them by the boards and the repins. But for some reason they've changed it on the Pinterest side and now they're like grouping them all together. And I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you guys are thinking about this and like whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or whether it's a total error on Pinterest's part. Because the one thing is they don't really publish like a blog or anything that explains any of the changes that they've made. It's not like Instagram where like a month ago they announced that they were going to be adjusting the way their the feed came into the app. which was really nice. It was great that they were transparent and people were able to make a plan or fix their strategy. Yeah, that's good. So Board Booster and Tailwind are still providing the individual pin info. Hopefully it stays like that. If you're just jumping in, we're talking about this Pinterest change, and that I think everybody is hoping is an error. And viral tag. Ooh, I haven't used that yet. They've emailed me a few times, but I am lazy right now at jumping into new platforms and learning them. Yeah, so that's a good, a good thing just to think about for your own business is being transparent with your audience and saying like, hey, next week I'm going to do this differently, or, you know, if I change this to this thing. That's good to know. So if you're having issues editing your pins, you can do it on the app on your phone. That is very good. Maybe that's, I think that is what I did. I think I did go into the app on my phone and fix it. Because I had pinned an Instagram photo with like my course and looked like really nice on an iPad, and I was like, ooh, this looks great, I'm gonna pin this. And then usually I would just jump in and add the link to the course, and I couldn't do it, and I like panicked because people were repinning that image with no link, and I was like, no. Yeah, awesome. All right, well, that's my whole spiel for today. I'm glad you guys came and hung out. Does anybody have any questions about this crazy Pinterest stuff? The Badass Babes blog club and e-course registration ends tonight. So if you want to join us and my amazing community and figure out how to narrow your niche so that you actually grow your traffic. One thing I wanted to say was a lot of people worry that if they change the focus or like, you know, take part of the focus away, so they were blogging about 5 things and only going to focus on these 3, that they'll lose a bunch of followers. The thing is, you probably will lose people who are only interested in those other things. But in doing that, you are going to grow your traffic. You're going to grow your following, your audience, social media. It will grow, and you will get more people than you lost. And they're going to be more focused and more likely to hire you, subscribe, buy things, which is probably your goal in the end. Somebody said they had a question. I'll hang out. You can ask me. Yeah, never be afraid that something you do is going to like make people not want to hang out with you. Oh, is Pinterest seen as direct traffic in Google Analytics? I don't actually know. But if you send me a tweet at XO Sarah Morgan, I will look and find out for you. Good, good. Any other questions? Anybody gonna come and join Badass Babes with me? You could probably set up a, I don't know what it's called, but it will track your, the user's path. So you could possibly, if it's not, you could set it up like that. I don't have the tech information on how to do that, but I know it's possible. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out today. I'm gonna be, yes, conversion pixel, thank you. I'm gonna be periscoping a little more. I know I disappeared for a few months, but things are crazy. I was busy, I was out of town, I got sick. I'll periscope more and we can hang out and chat. Would total pins be seen as social proof? Yeah, any sort of results or numbers can be used as social proof. The thing is, so I have a lot of pins. I've been blogging about blogging for like 2 or 3 years now, like solely blogging about that information. So I have blog posts that I've been pinning for years. So they have like thousands of repins, and then, you know, the one that I pinned yesterday had like 13 repins. So that's one of my problems, is that you would think that you would be able to use that total number to gauge like what content users are really liking. But if you're like me and you have hundreds of blog posts that have been going out for years, it doesn't really matter. You know, I want to see repins per board, so I know what boards to put time into. And I want to see repins over a period of like 30 to 60 days. That is a better gauge for me of how my blog posts are faring, rather than that pin from 2 years ago has thousands of repins. Many of the people that were following me 2 years ago aren't following me anymore. So, you know, having that smaller time frame is much better. So, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this, and I'm hoping that it's an error on Pinterest's part and they'll fix it soon. Okay, cool. And anything that I mentioned in my scopes, always forever, you can go to exosarah.com/scope, and I always leave notes in there, any of the links that I talked about, so you can just jump in and see them. Cool. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm going to go find lunch now. Have a good day.